may not know where I'm going. Hell, I couldn't tell you where I've been. This is really awkward, so we're gonna have to drink a little bit first. Hi, I'm Cody.
I'm Jenna.
And we've just made a horrible decision. We are the proud owners of a 24-foot Sharpie sailboat, gaff rig, all wood. We're going to be fixing this boat up, and Jenna is going to be learning how to sail. Yep. And we're going to be crossing off some bucket lists. A little bit about ourselves. I have been sailing for a long time, since I was a kid, and I am a professional mariner. I hold U.S. Coast Guard licenses as a master of 200 tons sailing, and also as an engineer. And I sailed tall ships for a while, but before that I got into wooden boat building, and I worked at the boat shop that built this boat. And so it's kind of neat that it's come back to me. A little about Jenna.
I've been sailing for about 3 business hours.
Yeah, 3 hours worth of experience. 7 ships, 9 ships.
I have a day job I hate.
On a computer.
Yep. Tired of sitting in front of a computer. I don't know, I'm just excited for the experience of getting to fix up a boat and learn to sail and check that off of the bucket list. So.
I used to... Okay. All right, so how we got the boat. We've talked about getting a boat before, and we make really detailed long-term relationship plans. And so we had a very well thought out, detailed plan, 10-year plan. And in like 10 years or so, we'd be ready to get a sailboat. And
a monkey wrench got thrown.
Yeah, and so what happened was I work on a tugboat, and some of the guys on the tugboat were talking about boats. And so we all started talking about boats, and I was convincing them they don't want a boat. And I was on Facebook Marketplace, and I saw this boat for sale. And it was built in Willatka, which is the town where I built boats and lived about, I guess, 10, 12 years ago.
Little North Florida.
Yeah, North Florida, small town on a river. And I sailed my sailboat that I had got for free down to that town and learned how to build boats. And I learned that I didn't like building boats and that I'd rather sail them. And so I got into schooners and tall ships. But, so I talked to the guy, and we were just talking about boats. And I actually mentioned, like, hey, maybe let the people that buy this boat from you, give them my information. And when they're ready to sell it in 10 years, I'll hit them up, because this is the perfect boat for what I want to do. I'm just not at a time, financially and time-wise where I can really have one. And so we got to talking about boats and our histories. And
you made the mistake of sending it to me.
Yeah, so I showed Jenna, and she was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And so I said, well, he said, why don't you come up and look at it? And I was like, well, I'm not really in a position to buy a boat right now. And he's like, well, if you want it, you can have it. So I drove 300 miles with my friend Chris, who was supposed to be on a Transpac, and the boat owner got ill. So he had a couple free days. And so he drove up with me to Apalachicola, and we looked at the boat. And the first thing I said was, oh shit, this is a full-size boat. I called Jenna right away and said, this is not a...
The pictures didn't do it justice.
Yeah, I looked it up online. It said 24-foot length overall. That's without the 6-foot bowsprit. I thought it was including the bowsprit. So I was picturing an 18-foot boat with a 6-foot bowsprit. This thing with the bowsprit's 30 feet long. It's a full-size boat. And I said, Jenna, this is a real boat. All the varnish needs to be redone. All the paint needs to be redone.
It's a project.
It's interesting because it's very rare to get a wooden boat project that's not old. This boat's only 3 or 4 years old, and it's unfinished. So the boat was built to be completed, like all the carpentry was finished, and then the finishing was going to go to the man who bought it. And as he said, he woke up one day and was 85 years old and felt it, and it was time to not have the boat anymore. So we went and looked, we talked it over, we decided we can do this thing. I came back, drove up, rented a trailer, down-rigged the boat in the slip with the help of a friend from back in my hobo and train hopping days that lives nearby. And he came over and helped me out. And then I dragged it 300 miles behind my little Dodge Dakota, spent a day getting her up on blocks, and now here she is. There's a lot of bugs out. Our YouTube channel, we're hoping to be informative and entertaining and fun. I've been researching on Reddit things people wish they could see, and one of the big things is a lot of sailing channels gloss over a lot of the work, and they say, oh, we have to go do this, and then it's done. So we're gonna try to film and explain what we're gonna do. I wanna try to explain like why I'm using certain tools. I tried to film a lot of getting it on the blocks, and it was a hassle doing the camera shit. And what I was doing was kind of dangerous, and I was really just not in the mood, just kept stopping what I was doing. And
I was working.
Yeah, she was working. So I'm gonna try to get better about that, but one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna be documenting Jenna learning how to sail. A lot of people online wanted to see like how to rig a dinghy, how to sail a dinghy, how to rig a boat, how to tack, why to tack, where to tack. And the best way I've always told people to learn how to sail, some people say just go get a boat and learn how to sail. I think start small, start with a small simple boat, and then just work your way up to larger boats. If you can sail a dinghy, you can sail a schooner. If you can sail a schooner, you can't necessarily sail a dinghy. It's a lot tenderer. So I think sailing dinghies is the best way to learn how to sail. We have a boat called the Newport. It's based on an Optimist. Same thing, it's a 6-foot sailing pram that Jenna is learning how to sail. So we'll be showing her how to rig it. It is a homemade rig I made out of windsurfing parts. But it's basically how to rig a boat. And we'll be sailing on our water behind us here on my muck pond out at the beach, cruising around, kind of just explaining ourselves, documenting, and then hopefully, even if we only get 1 subscriber, we can look back on these and enjoy it. Oh, that's not a termite. What kind of bug is that? I think it's about to be a mosquito.
No, termites are brown. I mean, like with wings. That's not black.
Well, anyway, welcome to our channel.
I feel like had I known this was happening, I could have better prepared with a monologue.
Well, if you want to write one.